This week we're very excited to introduce our good friend Jo Winter, who is a tabletop games designer and also co-host of the very fun, very excellent Rolling with Rainbows actual play roleplay podcast, which I am also a member of.
It's me. I'm the one who's creating all the needless drama.
Welcome to the show, Jo.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Very excited to hear your presentation.
I'm very excited to give my presentation. I hope it meets your exacting standards as professional PowerPoint presenters.
I've been looking forward to this presentation for months at this point. So.
That is how long it's taken us to organise it. So, who here is familiar with the concept of combat sports? You've heard of these, yes? Yeah?
Judo, Taekwondo.
Yeah, you know, boxing, punching some guy
hard.
right in the schnoz, doing some sick judo throws.
Oh no.
Doing your best Keanu Reeves impression.
Yeah.
Maybe.
These are all photos that are
stabby
seconds away from
fencing.
disaster.
Or just whatever the hell
Fencing,
rugby
that's
is.
what you do, Jo. Jo does
I
fencing.
do fencing, yeah. Well, I used to. I miss it real bad. It's very fun. I did, just before lockdown, actually, I got into, like, medieval fencing very briefly, and then
shit.
lockdown happened. Or, like, historical fencing. It's
so
very cool.
cool.
You get to use, like, long swords and stuff. It's incredibly fun.
Is it fencing if you're using a longsword?
Yeah, it's historical fencing. There's a few different ways you can do it. So there's like rapier and dagger. It's very cool. Like there's bucklers and stuff.
I want to do dagger.
You can get really it's so so you have a rapier and then a dagger in the other hand, and the dagger's for parrying. It's so cool.
Whoa.
Anyway.
Wow.
Yeah.
So,
I'm scared just thinking about it.
All of these sports. How would you describe these? Think of some adjectives, maybe.
Pain.
Mm-hmm.
Pain
Badass.
hurts.
Okay.
Blood.
Violent.
Hold all
Scale.
of that
Hospital.
in your mind a little bit. Then consider juggling.
How
How would you describe juggling?
Hurt. Blood.
Embarrassing.
Hospital.
I'm being a little bit mean here, but some words I've got down that could maybe describe juggling. A little bit goofy, slightly cringe maybe, kind of weird. I am strawmanning this a little bit.
Whoa, Jo,
Admittedly.
These slides.
Someone got out the animations panel, eh?
I really did.
For me personally, juggling is an opportunity to drop all my things on the floor and look like a
Absolutely. I can barely juggle two objects, which is to say I can throw two objects in the air and swap hands with them.
Yeah.
Even
I
that
do
I'd
like
struggle
cheat
with.
juggling when I do it, so I'm like...
My impression of jugglers is that it is very much in the same vein as magicians, in that they're a bit sad because you have to practice loads and loads and loads and loads, and you sit in your bedroom doing the same thing again and again and again and again with no friends, all to get to a party and be able to go, oh, look at me, I can juggle, look at me, I can do magic. Like some sort of twat in the pub getting out a deck of cards.
Jen's talking about herself right now.
This is, okay.
Jen's talking about herself right now.
Going into this,
Talking about me.
exactly my opinion of jugglers. Again, like, you know, we're being a little bit mean here. Like, there is obviously a lot of skill involved in juggling, which is why we've got this scarecrow here. I'm strawmanning them a bit.
Oh yeah, you can have plenty of skill and still be a loser.
Exactly. Look at me. Perfect example. Anyway, you might even consider this clip.
Crusty jugglers.
The icon. Sorry, I'm playing it again. I love Hot Fuzz. It's a great film. What if I told you that juggling could be cool? What if I told you that we could combine the yin and the yang of combat sports and juggling? I'm talking about combat juggling.
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
Is he gonna hit that guy with the juggling?
We're gonna watch this video. Don't you worry. So yeah, let's have a little look at this.
Oh, this is like a whole thing.
This is the
Sponsored by
WJF, the
Uber.
World Juggling Federation.
Whoa.
This is
What the hell?
combat juggling, an aggressive form of
Oh
object
my
manipulation combined with debilitating attacks.
These guys look like
Each
jugglers.
player must maintain control over 3 clubs at all times. In sumo combat, the objective is to destroy your opponent by slashing their clubs to the ground or shoving them out of the sumo circle. In Breach, 30 clubs are
What
in
the
motion
hell?
at the start of each round, but only one player needs to maintain control until they reach the
Oh,
breach zone.
this looks-
Here is Sayers trying to lock up the arm of Ben Thompson on the right.
Wow.
Has 2 of his own clubs trying to steal now. 2-point advantage. 4 team parallels.
You know, the temptation is to smash the other guy in the face.
That is
Don't feel
Penn
overwhelmed.
of Penn and Teller
By
fame.
Josh Horton dove in.
Oh,
Doing some of the
Wow,
commentary
we
here.
bring it all together.
Lauga Benjaminson, who've had 6 in a row. Last time Team Parallel scored was with Lauga in the middle. Lauga grabbing
So-
Schmeisner's club, not able to get it. Schmeisner diving into
So
right-handed
the combat
We'll
of
get to the end of the
combat,
video.
Lauga goes
are they
down
trying to
the
hurt
knee
each
and
other or are they
stays in
trying to
for
make
Parallel.
each other
Big
drop?
match move there.
Hold that
it sounds like they're
Hold
trying to
that
get each
thought.
other. This is sumo combat juggling. We're trying to get out of the ring or make them
He
drop
has
down.
been defensive
Make
force
them
today
stick.
for Team Parallels.
Hold
And
that
here comes
thought.
Schmeisner with plenty of room cleared. Benjaminson with a last-second attempt. Still a handful of active defenders for Team Intel.
I'm gonna say, I have to say, it doesn't look cool.
It doesn't.
It doesn't look cool.
I was desperately trying to find a way of making that less cruel. I'd be like, these guys are like fucking nerds.
Combat doesn't make it look
Oh
badass.
my god.
We can sort of pause here. This is just them talking about other stuff in the same. Actually, you know what? Let's watch this. This is fun.
Yeah.
From around the world to compete and learn at
Whoa.
SkillCon. 11 states from California to Florida are represented in the sport of cornhole.
Combat bowls.
The Las Vegas Badminton.
I've heard of that
organized 2
cornhole.
days of
Extreme
exhibition
badminton.
matches. SkillCon also showcased the mind-blowing sport of sepak takraw to the
Volley with-
United States
volleyball
for the
with feet.
first time. If you thought juggling
I mean,
was
that's
a bit
foot
niche,
volleyball. That looks
well,
hard as hell.
probably still the
Yeah.
niche.
Yeah. Jen, it's you. The guy with the cards. Anyway.
No.
Um,
Oh no. I hate it. I already
Combat.
hate it. I
I love
decided to go into this
Combat
hating
juggling.
it.
I think I'm gonna after this. I'm gonna find some combat juggling podcasts and get really like.
Ray's gonna become a combat juggling
Really
nerd,
get into combat juggling.
but just as an observer.
Yeah.
So, the World Juggling Federation, this is their pitch for combat juggling. 2 teams, 10 combatants, 30 weapons. The world's most vicious and strategic club manipulators attack and take each other down, while maintaining control over gravity in a 5-on-5 deathmatch tournament.
Deathmatch. Club manipulators.
Oh, this is very much in the same vein as Quidditch, isn't it? We are
The
mercilessly
most
mocking
vicious and
these people.
strategic club manipulators.
Yeah.
Is that, the first half of that is some. Yeah.
Vicious.
Oh,
Strategic
we're being so mean. We need to.
I-
Okay. Let's take a step back. Let's take a step back and come into this with empathy
Yeah.
and meet them in their own terms rather than making fun of them. Even though it's really easy to make fun
If
of
I was
them.
someone who had already acquired the skills of juggling, which are impressive skills, like it can't be taken for
They are
granted.
impressive skills.
Like
Yeah.
turning it into like a competitive sport, that would be fun. Like that would definitely appeal to me if I had acquired those skills. Like yeah.
I'd never want to be described as a club manipulator.
That is true. There's something to be said about the image of 2 groups of 5 advancing on each other, aggressively juggling. Like some sort of weird, like that one scene in Anchorman with all the news presenters.
Yeah, or like all those dance off movies, like Step Up and stuff like that. Only they're juggling instead.
Yeah.
They say that World War III will be fought with nukes, but they don't tell you that World War IV will be fought with juggling.
Yeah.
With clubs. That's because of the news.
Reject modernity, embrace club.
Yeah.
That's the pitch. The practicalities of combat juggling. Combat juggling integrates the skill of juggling 3 clubs. So all of them are juggling the 3. They look like bowling pins. They call clubs. So a team sport. There's a one-on-one mode and there's a team variant essentially. Both use the same core concept, that being juggling 3 clubs. If at any point a juggler drops one of their clubs or loses it in any way, so if you're reduced to 2 clubs, you're out. You're knocked out. And so in a team game, it's like a battle royale type thing where it's the last team standing. In a one-on-one, it's a purely, it's two people going at each other. There's a few ways to do this, and we'll cover those in detail later. But the most common way is, so if you saw in that video, you throw one up really high, like way up. So that's up in the air, and you've got airtime on that. In the meantime, you can take your other two clubs and just go to town. Just not on people.
Just try
I'm
and
pretty sure you can't. I'm fairly sure that's against the rules. No, but you use your clubs to knock the opponent's clubs out of the air, or So juggling is all about patterns, right? It's about throwing things in a recognizable pattern and being able to kind of manipulate them. Any way that disrupts your opponent's pattern is going to cause them to drop one of their pins, and that's all you need to do. And yeah, there's a variety of different attack techniques and gameplay formats that allow for various strategies. We'll talk about some more specific strategies in a little bit.
Oh, giving us a bit of a hook there.
Yeah,
Very excited to hear about the strategies.
Keep you engaged. I know ADHD be like that. So, who came up with combat juggling? Well,
was it Jonathan Juggling?
It was actually Jason Garfield, the widest and most masculine-looking bald man you will ever see.
Of course, this guy invented combat juggling.
He just wanted an excuse to beat our
A small caveat here. Saying he invented combat juggling is a little bit reductive, and we'll explain why briefly. Okay. But this is the man that established combat juggling as a... You can fairly reasonably attribute it developing into something that can reasonably be called a sport,
right? To
Jason Garfield. Mm-hmm. Self-described bad boy of juggling.
Actually self-described.
Yeah, I literally, hang on. The bad boy of juggling founded the World Juggling Federation. Kind of has a... Not weirdly, he's very anti-juggling as comedy and very pro-juggling as sports.
Wow.
This is his sort of shtick.
He's anti-clown. He's anti-clown.
Yeah, he rails really hard against the image of jugglers as cringe.
Bringing joy and is pro-juggling for cringe.
Yeah,
the thing you got to remember about this. The thing you got to remember about this show, Joe, is that we are a pro-clown show.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got me on board, so
exactly.
Clearly. Yeah, just weirdly, very like masculine about the whole thing. Like, this is juggling for men.
No, the thing that I put hours of my life into, endless hours of my life into, is not for comedy and to be laughed at. It is for violence and competition.
Incidentally, he does have a YouTube page, and I did take a clip of it. A little screenshot of some of his videos.
Oh, wow. He has fewer subscribers than us. No, more subscribers than us, but fewer views.
I'm starting a YouTube drama is what I'm doing. Good luck with the hate comments.
Good spot, Jen.
So this is, I guess, one of the kind of the mainstream view of combat juggling. It's developed into this sort of sport that is marketed as extreme in some senses, very competitive. But
I'm just looking at his video titles. Can we just go back that slide? Jason Garfield live workout.
He's a big advocate of
Saturday chest
extreme
and juggling
as fitness. From what I can tell,
arm destruction.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't watch any of these because they are like 2 hours apiece.
Crotch surprises, crotch madness.
Yeah. he has a testimonial on his like pinned video is from Penn I can't remember his name. The Penn of Penn and Teller fame, doing a testimonial for his fitness stuff, saying it helped him lose weight, which good for him. I guess.
Great. What's crotch madness though?
Oh yeah, no, I do. And crotch surprises.
What are crotch surprises? What does that have to do with
the surprises? He looks like a Ken doll.
I have to watch this. Jason Garfield.
Are we actually doing this?
Just search crotch surprises on YouTube. See what comes up. Oh, okay. Oh, it's more juggling through the garage. Whoa, here's a little surprise. Didn't expect that to come from there, did ya?
Oh, look at him being so cool with his, like, dropping the pins.
So this guy is the guy who thinks that he's anti-juggling for the purposes of comedy, and yet
Essentially,
he wants us to believe that crotch surprises isn't hilarious.
He has a
Square that circle.
He is at least a little bit self-aware about it. He's done some presentations at I guess juggling events where he kind of did a bit of a routine about how weird he is about it, but it did seem a bit mean-spirited from what I've read, so the degree to which he is self-aware remains to be seen. But you know, I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt.
So by releasing this video, are we going to be in for a world of hate by Jason?
Possibly.
Are we going to start a Twitter?
I hope not, because that is not my intention. Now, what if I told you that combat juggling could be cool and groovy?
I don't think anything that's been described as cool and groovy is ever cool and groovy.
So, combat juggling as a sport was established by Jason Garfield. However, it has a long history of being a part of juggling events for years prior, and I think this video sums up why and really shows why I do find combat juggling very entertaining. Because it didn't start as this extreme kind of weirdly masculine sport. It started as a way for people to show off their skills.
Yeah.
This video is great, and it also shows off a lot of techniques that I will be highlighting in a second. And this is the one-on-one bearing.
It definitely, like... Oh, they all got very enthusiastic. Oh, and there will be the...
Yeah, exactly, and they're clearly having fun with it, right?
There is just a guy completely shirtless in the background. In that audience, though. Look,
What?
in the middle of that shot. He's completely
Hey,
shirtless.
look, juggling, it's a...
It's a workout.
I was going somewhere with this, but I've just lost it.
Yeah, this looks like great fun.
Yeah, no, it
Yeah,
does look
right?
fun. Yeah. The music. What's going on?
The guy in the black shirt is definitely better than the guy in the funky shorts.
Wow.
Niets is onmogelijk, niets is ongelooflijk. Geloof in jezelf en je bent onstotelijk.
I'm Team Rob.
Wow, although that was very impressive.
3, 2.
It's a good sport when you can wear those fucking.
Yeah, I agree.
Rob just needed to get into his groove. He just needed to get into his groove. That's what it is. He just needed to warm up. He was
I think
a bit
one of
rubbish
these
at first,
next
but he
rounds
warmed
is
up.
my favourite one of this video, and you'll see why in a second. Okay, I think it's the next one. So they've swapped clubs.
Oh.
They've exchanged clubs in midair, and they've done it again.
Oh shit.
And then, yeah, he just couldn't keep it going.
Oh, and then Rob just threw it. He threw it. He choked, is what it was. He choked.
Somebody else just juggling.
Oh,
in the
Rob's
background.
definitely got the crowd on his side.
The crowd loves an underdog. The best exchanges are when they recover a few times, because it really shows how skilled they are at like keeping these things in the air. It's insane.
Yeah.
I didn't realise you could swap clubs.
Yep. We'll get to that.
You steal your opponent's club and then integrate it into a 4-club juggle.
Oh. Look at the pain on him. The pain.
Well, that looks like they're having great fun.
Oh no. It really not sort of throwing away the idea that you're a nerd by doing the bloody worm at the end.
You gotta do it. It has to be done.
No, but this is better because
it has to be done in 2001, not 2016.
But this is better than what we saw at the beginning. Like, because they're nerds and they're not trying to pretend they're anything. You know, they're not trying to pretend they're.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with you there.
It looks like they're having fun, yeah.
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 Bloody combat juggling nowadays is far too commercialised.
Yeah.
They've made a pyramid and put themselves on top. That the WJF is big juggle.
bloody Garfield making it all like commercialised and putting too much money into it. People don't do combat juggling for the love of combat juggling anymore. It's all about the money.
It's all about the crotch surprise.
Yeah.
So I thought we'd wrap up with a little bit of a look at the various techniques that you can use in combat juggling, because I think that they're quite interesting. So, first one is the high lob. So you chuck one up in the air, you got 2 remaining, you go to town. Use them as batons to knock things out the air, and step 4 profit. You've also got, this is a sort of extension of that technique, is pattern disruption. Again, a bit of a catch-all, because juggling is fundamentally about patterns in the air. Anything that disrupts an opponent's pattern is going to make them pretty likely to drop a pin, and therefore you're in the green. This next one is real fun. Only really works in group games, but is, I think, the most interesting and fun implication of combat juggling, in my opinion. That being stealing clubs. You can catch an opponent's club in midair and add it to your pattern, at which point you now have 4 clubs. Rach, I'm very impressed that you managed to predict this. And it does have the energy of stealing someone's balloons in Mario Kart Balloon Battle.
That's really cool, because you're taking their club and disrupting their pattern. And
you're
also
eliminating them, and
that,
you're getting +1.
Yeah, you can handle even more clubs.
You know the best bit about that? Once you have a spare club, you can throw that at other people's clubs in midair to knock their clubs out the air.
Okay, that's fun.
So another thing you can do with this is, so you get judged out if a referee calls you out, right? In this is going back to the sport version, but it's still I find it interesting, so we're gonna talk about it. If you have a spare one, you can chuck it to a teammate, and they can start juggling with, and it can bring them back up to 3 before someone notices. In theory, so you know there's a lot of different implications of having a spare club. You can leverage it in a few ways, which is quite interesting.
So you can lose one of your clubs and not be immediately out if you get a club.
It has to be. You have to get it from someone else pretty quick, but in theory, it could. Like, not to cast aspersions. I was going to say, I don't want to cast aspersions on professional combat jugglers, but I don't know to what extent you're going to wait to be told, indulgible.
Right.
If a true sportsman would leave the field as soon as they got hit by a dodgeball, right? As soon as they dropped a pin, whatever.
Right.
But if you're doing this in a yeah, exactly.
A controversy in the sport.
In theory, yeah, I think that they give you a little bit of margin of error so that you can, in theory, recover by taking someone else's real quick. But yeah, I
because that sounds more fun, right? Like if you lose you can maintain the pattern of your juggling by immediately grabbing another one to replace it, then that's really cool.
It's in the spirit of the skill involved that if you're able to recover very quickly by grabbing someone else's, then it feels like you should probably be allowed to stay in the match, because that's a pretty skilled thing to be able to do.
Yeah, that's a kind of rule set that enables more fun and more skill rather than
exactly.
just ruling it out for the sake of it.
We're not here for fun, Matt. We're here for the really intense sport of combat juggling.
That's all she wrote about combat juggling. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
That was amazing. Thank
Wow,
you, Joe.
thank you very much.
That was awesome. I
everything I
love learning
wanted
about
it to
combat
be.
juggling.
Yeah, that was really, really enjoyable. I liked making fun of the nerds.
I felt a
Of
little
which
bit guilty.
I am not
for
one.
making fun of that.
Imagine being a nerd. It couldn't be me.
Not me, for sure. I don't participate in a role-playing podcast.
Me, design a role-playing game? Huge if true.
Talking of that, Joe, where can we find you if we wanted to find you
Well,
outside of this particular YouTube video?
I'm glad you asked. So I design tabletop role-playing games. You can find most of those over at winterymute.itch.io. I'm sure there'll be a link in the description. You can also find me tweeting at twitter.com/winterymute. Yeah, that's the main stuff. Oh, I'm also in a very good TTRPG actual play podcast, which you should check out. It's called Rolling with Rainbows. Consider.
Yes, give it a download. Give it a check.
We're coming up to our finale of season 1, and I, for one, am very excited.
It is jam-packed full of comedy and drama and horror, and it's very cool and fun. And
I am, as the kids say, pogging.
Thanks, Joe.
No worries. Thank you for having me.